welcome back everybody to Let's Stream The Longest Journey. Let us continue the journey. Oh, I see. We're going in here, aren't we? Because we have to deliver a map. A map. A map? There we go. To someone in here. How long is this journey you talk of? So far it only seems like a couple of days so far. But so we're yet to wonder why it's called the longest journey. But and how good am I at puzzles? Not very, but I seem to be bubbling my way through this all right. We do have a couple of people in the chat. Narima, Dragonster, and Hugh definitely stand out as people who kind of know what they're doing. Though I'm assuming there are others as well. But yeah, people are pretty good with letting me do my own thing. But yeah, we're delivering an inn to someone in here. We're delivering an inn to someone in this map. We'll ask her if she knows who he is.
Excuse me?
Yes? Oh, it is you.
I'm looking for a guest of yours, Tunlayak.
The sailor? She is looking for work today, I'm afraid. With most of the ships moored to the docks for balance knows how long, it is difficult for sailors to find work.
Do you know when Tunlayak is expected back?
I could not tell you, child, but from what I know of the ships in harbor, she will not find one that needs a navigator anytime soon.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, child.
Aww. That's nice, Narima.
The back rooms are both empty. Nothing but ashes left of the fire now. It was very comfy. Assorted bottles and spices and...
No, okay, that's enough of that. She might be in the harbour then. We've got a couple things we need to be doing, but this is the only one I could really remember, so... Oh. Oh, okay, you are new. This is a new thing. Oh, it's gone.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Oh, that thing was then. Which Civ game was it, Narima? Now, Civilization 5 was something that was suggested to me for the stream.
Hello again,
stream.
old man.
It be you.
See if he remembers anything. Oh, we can ask about her, maybe.
See you later.
If I not be dead, I...
Looked like a black goblin from Gothic.
It's a lighthouse. The blue fire's burning bright, a safe beacon for weary sailors, and a magnet for flowery prose.
Oh yeah, Civ 5. Yeah, that's the one that was suggested to me. Lobsters.
This lady's selling fresh fish. I've never seen fish like this before. But if it's wet and has fins, fish it is.
Huh. Alright then. I might give it a go. I'd have to buy it, but... City Green. Oh yeah, we got to go and see the bloke, the time travel dude. And then the Enclave is where we'll get the law dump. Well, the whole game is like a law dump, but... Yeah, we'll go and visit this dude. This is nice. Nice park. Abenaxis, that's it.
It looks to have been carved out of a large tree, but the texture of the house is more stone than bark. That's one mother of a plant. I wonder if it's a carnivore.
Yeah.
It's a solid oak door. It's a peculiar house. It's a flower bed. There's plenty of room for more seeds to be planted in there. It's a solid oak.
Yep. Okay, I did.
Enter, honored guest, and I would have been with you presently.
I look like a serving maid. Some of them look to be in English, but I know they're not. It's the Altung language Tobias told me about. The tongue of magic. Sounds a little disgusting, to be honest.
It looks like he's fallen down a lot. Hit his head.
Be welcomed, stranger, to my abode.
Stranger? Don't you remember me? You invited me here.
Every moment we meet, and every moment we part. You are both stranger and friend, April Ryan.
I'm sorry, but could you try to be a little less obtuse this time? I have a hard time understanding half of what you say.
I will beg for your forgiveness, April Ryan. I had a hard time to make myself understood amongst other peoples. I will pull myself into this moment, difficult as it may be, so that we can communicate and so that you may understand. It is important that you understand, April Ryan. Very important.
Well, you should have tried talking to him, Dave. He could have given you some valuable information. You won't be there for the 24-hour stream. Is anyone going to be there for it? Should I even bother? I suppose Dragonster is, because he's expecting how to die. I'll try and find a way to kill you in every game. Don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll give it a go, though.
Who are you?
I am Abnaxis of the Venar, ambassador to the Ireed Council in Marcuria. My people live far from here, and they do rarely visit your kind, and so I am their sole link to humans and Dolmari.
Why is that?
I alone among the Venar am able to focus on a particular moment and thread in time, and so to speak with those who flow with time, like you.
How do your people perceive time?
It is hard to explain. Any moment before this moment and any moment after is the same to me as this one. I have lived already, and I am yet to live. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
I think so.
Cancel.
But how's that possible?
Everything is possible, April Ryan. There is magic, and there is science, and between the two, everything is possible.
No. No, no. And the last day of this month. The 31st. The 31st. It's down below in the events and stuff.
Can you see the future?
To me, every moment is the same. There is no future. I can relate moments you have yet to see, and I can unravel possible threads. But remember, the future I see may not be the one into which you walk. Moments and threads fluctuate, change. I can remember things that have never come to pass, and I have seen things that will never be.
Thanks, Ajamas. There'll be two of us.
So you can't tell the future.
That'd be nice.
I would see your possible futures, the likely threads among hundreds. If there was not a veil in time, I would.
What's this veil you keep talking about?
Somewhere ahead, in our path, there is a dark veil through which I cannot pass, past which I cannot see. It is disconcerting to me to be blocked from the moments of my life.
How did this veil come to be?
It was, no, will be created in chaos, by chaos, to keep the future hidden. All threads converge on a single point here, beyond the veil, and this will happen only once. It is written.
Written? Where?
In the prophecies.
Enclave.
Tell me about the prophecies.
Words have been written by seers who can discern from all possible threads the threads that are certain to be woven. These words are the prophecies.
And what do the prophecies say?
Prophecies speak of a time when the balance will falter, weakened by the assault of chaos and its servants. The moment the veil falls is the moment of uncertainty. The balance may stand, the balance may fall. I cannot tell which it will be, and I cannot even see the possibilities, the threads extending from each fork. But the prophecies also speak of a Savior, as the prophecies usually do, one who will bring order to chaos, only to release chaos on the innocent, one who will restore the balance, only to finally break it.
That doesn't sound like a savior.
The word in my tongue is Kanang La. Literally translated, it means the small seed who grew to a tall tree.
It's not quite Kermit. A lot of people won't know what the Kermit thing is. It's on the V-Streams channel.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself, Abnaxis?
Me? About myself? We, the Venar, are not good at speaking of ourselves. We always know who we are, and so we have no need to tell each other.
Well, are you married? Do you have kids? Or perhaps your people don't marry?
Yes, we do marry, and we always know who we are to be with, because our future is also our past, and so we also know our children, even though, according to your reckoning, they have yet to be born. My wife was, is, will be, the beautiful Abyanda. She lives by the Bay of Fire in the east. She gave birth to our 3 female children, Abratha, Abalexa, Abpalmana.
How long has it been since you last saw them?
I see them now, April Ryan. Do not forget I perceive time in a different manner from your kind. I have given them your regards.
Well, say hi to them for me.
I like that.
Why did you come here to Mercuria?
I was chosen to be ambassador to Ireed when I showed a talent for seeing the flow of time from one point to the next. I was trained for a long time in locking myself into a single moment to communicate and understand your world. My people do not normally involve themselves with others, but the Veil has forced us to do so.
Why don't the Venar want to involve themselves with humans?
In the wrong hands, our knowledge is dangerous. To know of the possible fluctuating futures, this can be a weapon to some who flow with time. We cannot interfere with your time. We are not allowed.
Who says?
The balance, the Guardian. The Guardian watches not only the balance between worlds, but also the balance within. Time is in balance, and if this balance is upset, the Guardian would know.
I thought the Guardian was gone.
So he is, and that makes it even more crucial to my people that we preserve the balance and not upset it. Chaos is our enemy, April Ryan, and we do our part to keep it at bay, as do you.
Hello, Kenzo. Welcome to the stream. How are you tonight? She should stop asking these questions, because he's just going to say, well, I already am back with them, but I've also never left, but I'm also here with you.
Are you planning on ever going back to your people?
When we pass through the veil to the other side and time yet again opens up, I will return to my people.
Yeah.
I look forward to that day.
A strangely straightforward answer.
I miss my people, and it is hard to speak with your kind. It makes me tired.
I know what you mean. I'm a stranger here too.
You will bring us through the veil, April Ryan, and then we can both leave this place and go home.
Where is your home, Abnaxis?
Across the border mountains and north, to where the forests are evergreen, and where in winter the land turns white.
Yeah, he lives in Evergreen.
Do you know Father Tobias?
Tobias is a faithful servant of the balance, and he is a good man. He leads the sentinel down a narrow path, but he never wavers. We are friends.
So, I can trust him?
Trust is a concept which often puzzles me. Amongst my people there is never distrust. We always know the truth. But amongst your people, amongst those who flow with time, trust is important, a fragile thing. But yes, I do think Tobias is to be trusted fully. I cannot see beyond the veil, but up to that point there is no thread in which he betrays your trust, April Ryan.
That's good to know. Yeah, I thought we'd just put Cortez after that. He's Canadian. Naughty.
Have you heard of a man named Cortez?
No, I have not. But that does not mean I do not know him. Names are often fleeting, April Ryan.
He's my... well, some have called him my mentor, others a nutcase. I'm not sure which it is, but I'm leaning towards the former.
Your mentor? He is a shifter as well?
No, I don't think so. He doesn't travel. Shift between Stark and Arcadia.
I do not see him in my life, April Ryan. I do not know him. Beyond the veil, perhaps, but not before.
Thanks, Abnaxis.
You are always welcome, April Ryan.
I think we've done all the questions.
Can I ask you a few...
Yes.
Thanks.
You...
Okay. Quest.
I need some help in my quest.
Quest.
Yes, you did.
I did? And what did you answer?
That I will help you as much as I can, but in the end...
I'm on my own. I've heard that one before. What do you know about dragons?
I do not know much about the kin, but I do know a little. Perhaps it will help you, perhaps not. The Draic kin came to this world a very, very long time ago. Before the dawn of man, before the divide. The Venar had yet to learn to be outside time, and there were few other peoples on Earth. The kin played an important part in the divide, in separating magic from science, and in the founding of the Fathers, the Sentinel, to watch over the balance. It is said that after the divide of the 4 Draic kin that came to Earth, 2 went to Stark, and 2 to Arcadia. But that was a long time ago, 12,000 of your years. I do not know what has become of them since.
You don't know where I may find these Draken?
No, the white of the Draic kin, the mother, has, according to legend, been sighted. The tale of the silver spear of Gorimon speaks of the mother and her child. Though I think this is but a tale, and far from the truth.
The story is called The Silver Spear of Gorimon?
Yes, unfortunately I do not have this book myself, and I do not know of anyone who does.
What about the other dragon, the other Draic kin?
Of the Draic kin, I only know of the mother, the white of the kin, although I have heard tell of a god who fell from the sky into the ocean a great long time ago. But this may also be just a tale.
Well, we've got a little update on that.
What else do you know about this god who fell from the sky?
Only what I have told you. Someone with greater knowledge of the ocean and the creatures that live beneath its surface may be able to tell you more.
Well, we know a couple of seafarers, don't we?
Have you heard of a disc that works as a key to the Guardian's realm?
Yes, but very little. It has been spoken of in the I Read Council only recently, brought to attention by the Tyrant ambassador. He wished to know where it is kept.
And what was the answer?
No one at the council knows or admitted to knowing, and the ambassador was asked to speak with the Sentinel, which he is unlikely to concede to. The Tyrant are allied with the Vanguard, and so are in political and ideological opposition with the Sentinel. I know Vestrum Tobias. He would not speak a word with the Tyrant, nor the Vanguard. Not unless it was to challenge their philosophies.
So you don't know where I can find the disc?
No. Ask Vestrum Tobias.
I will if we haven't already.
Do you know anything about a rift leading to the Guardian's realm?
I have heard speak of such a thing. I believe it was where the tower was built and the divide created. When the earth was one, it might still be open.
Any idea where it is?
I am afraid the Venar were never very involved in the affairs of the Sentinel, nor took any part in the divide except to agree to the necessity of it. We had little choice but to concede. We are a magical people. We need the balance, because we could not survive without magic.
How would I go about fighting chaos?
You cannot fight chaos. It is not so simple. To oppose chaos, one must return order to that which has been affected by chaos, and thus reduce its powers. But this is not something everyone can do. Only those ordained by the balance can embark on such a dangerous task and survive.
That's about it for now.
I am glad I could be of assistance, April Ryan.
Yeah, assistance.
Thanks for your hospitality of Naxos.
Goodbye. Blessings of the balance to you, April Ryan. And may your journey have been a long and fruitful one.
It's Obnaxis.
Can I go up the stairs? Just the bookshelf.
I look like a serving maid. It's a nicely crafted bench.
I'll just sit here. Don't mind me. Now then. Let's just see if there's anything that works here. Nope. Bye. Dunno.
It's a flower bed. I'm not very good at this, but hey, I was born on a farm. That's gotta count for something.
Huh.
Now, grow.
Whoa.
Whoa, I must be a natural-born gardener. Strangest thing, I thought I heard a voice say something about a book of secrets. That the book of secrets is now open. Something like that. Huh.
That's pretty weird.
It's a flower bed. It's a flower bed.
Well, I guess that was important. I didn't find it on my own because FK was like, "You did bring that that piece of synthetic plant, didn't you?" As soon as I hovered over the flower bed, so it was a bit of a clue. No, never played any of the Discworld games. Are they like this? I don't know what they really are. I know we've got to go back there, but let's ask the salty sea dog to see if he knows anything. Oh, let's have a look at that red petal then. We'll go back.
Hello.
There you go.
Do you know anything about a god that fell from the sky into the sea?
Of course. You find fallen gods most everywhere these days. They're an air and a hand.
Really?
No, of course not. There are no fallen gods in the sea. It wouldn't make much sense, would it? If the sea was full of gods just lying about the seabed.
So you've never heard of such a thing happening?
Now you got it.
I know April's Saki, but she's got nothing on this dude.
A new species of creature has entered your dungeon.
Thank you for the follow. Sorry, I can't see your username because it stretches the stream really oddly, so I can't see the that is a bot. Don't click the link. Somebody please just go ahead and block that, if you will.
Hello again, old man.
It be you.
Do you have to get your pipe out every time? Yeah, where the hell are they all?
Have you heard a story about a god who fell from the sky into the sea?
Aye, that I be having. Although that be a story of man-eating mermen who ravaged the sea of songs, swallowing sailors whole and spitting their bones out to dry. Are you sure you be up for hearing such a cruel tale?
I've heard worse.
Ye be a tough little lady, be you not? All right. Well, like I be telling yous, the Sea of Song surrounding the island kingdom of Gien be a treacherous sea where countless vessels have disappeared without a trace. Now, this be near 30 long winters ago, mind, during me second term as captain of the trader Lucky Lady. We've been crossing the Sea of Songs for 2 seasons, and we've yet to be seeing any sign of the dreaded bloodthirsty mermen who lurk in the waters off the Gien coast.
Hi, Tom.
That night we be laying still with our sails down, awaiting the wind to pick up and carry us north to Mercuria, when we be hearing a frightful scream a-coming from the port side of the Lady Luck. I be the first to rush over on account of me having me arm down the apple barrel. We just been to Arras to pick up 100 barrels of sweet Gien apples. And as luck would have it, I be there just in time to witness Sally Barney's horrible fate. He be in the water, screaming and waving his arms, and the water around him be red as a midwife's arms after a grueling birth.
I get the picture. Go on.
Then I be seeing, I glimpse a large, shiny, sleek body be pulling Sally down and swallow him whole. It be the mermen come to claim the body of the sailor who dare cross their sea.
Are you sure it wasn't a shark?
What?
Big fish with sharp teeth and dead black eyes and a large triangular fin on top?
Ye mean a black-eyed snapjaw? I guess it could have been, but it be no snapjaw. It be the dreaded merman of the Sea of Songs.
Where does the sea god fit into all of this?
Aye, I be coming to that. You see, the bloodthirsty mermen be not only happy with cannibalizing sailors, but they be sacrificing their own to their dark old sea god.
Actually, unless the mermen are human, they wouldn't really be cannibals if they ate humans.
Blood sacrifices to their dreaded god who lives on the bottom of the sea. Aye, that be the truth of the mermen, fierce and bloodthirsty cannibals of the Sea of Songs.
Thanks. Good story.
Aye.
I want to see how that affected anything.
I'm all storied out for now. Thanks.
Yeah, you
Aye,
can.
you tell me when you want more, right?
Actually.
See you later.
If I not be dead, aye.
I don't know if we should actually look at that yet. We'll look at the end of the stream.
Breathtaking.
Yep. But no wind.
It's a lighthouse, much like the ones we have at home, except this one, of course, burns a blue fire.
Yes, Private Fraser, yes, definitely. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. From Dad's Army, everybody. Good old British comedy. Alright, the Enclave it is.
It's some kind of sandstone, very malleable, but also very vulnerable to the elements. These cliffs probably have huge, naturally formed caves and tunnels.
Neat.
It's a stone dragon gazing down into the center of the dome like it's guarding the entrance. It's a magnificent piece of work. I look like a serving maid. The dragon's mouth is pointing straight down at the middle of the floor. It's a circular hollow about 20 centimeters across and about 5 centimeters deep. It's a small recess about the size of my fist with a thin duct extending from the recess to the circular hollow in the middle of the floor. There are 3 others just like it, arranged with equal distance to each other in a circle and all connected via a duct to the center of the floor.
Well, that's good.
It's a small recess about the size...
Oh boy.
The dragon's mouth is pointing straight down at the middle of the floor. It's a circular hollow about 20 centimeters across and about 5
Oh
centimeters
boy.
deep.
How dare you make it... You know, I really enjoyed this game if it didn't have any puzzles. And I don't want to, like, put disparaging marks on the puzzles. I just want to say that, you know, the story's really good. And so if the game had no puzzles at all, it'll still be a great game. If you just wander around and talk to people all the time. Oh. Thankfully, it wasn't a puzzle. At least not yet. Yeah, no, I remember. Well, that's kind of what it is. They're just... You know, the puzzles are sort of like an addition to the story, though, aren't they? Oh, we'll just ignore you. Oh. Okay.
It's a rusty wheel.
Went all the way down there to see that.
It's a pool of seawater. You'd think that it'd be a bad idea to have a pool inside a library on account of the moisture. But I guess magic makes everything possible.
Well, we'll go and use the pool. I guess.
The water's pretty cold.
Alright, I don't know, just let's move. Let's talk to...
It's one of the Sentinel Minstrel.
Let's have a word.
Oh, goodness me, I didn't hear you come in. By the way, you haven't seen Volume 6 of the Complete Annotated History of the Northlands, have you? I could have sworn it was here yesterday.
Sorry, no.
I guess someone else must have taken it. I try to tell them to write down what they borrow on the list, but they never listen. Only last week I spent 3 hours searching the entire enclave for the second scripture of the ballads, the scripture of song, before I realized that Vestrum Tobias was studying it back in the city.
Gah.
Now, such incidents could be avoided if only, and this applies to you too, young lady, people would sign out the books they borrow when they borrow them and sign them back in when they're done. Such a simple procedure. It shouldn't take more than a few seconds to jot down your name and the name of the book you borrow. It makes my job so much easier. Now, which book did you want me to find for you?
Are you Minstrom Yaren?
Yes, of course. Oh, what a silly question.
What a silly question.
How would I know? I don't know you.
I am Minstrom Yeren, keeper of the great library of Marcuria. In fact, this is the greatest library of all the Northlands. Perhaps of the entire world. Although they say the Dark People have a library as big, if not bigger, than this one. But of course, we're not allowed anywhere near there. Have you been there?
I don't think...
What a silly question. Of course you haven't. You're not of the Dark People, are you? You don't look like any Dark People I've ever seen, so I can't see how you could possibly... Now, where did Volume 6 disappear to? Hmm?
Tobias said I should talk with you.
Tobias? Vestrum Tobias? I haven't seen him for... Well, he was in last week, but before that it must have been days at least. How is he? Still eating enough for 2 mules? I must tell you of this funny story I heard the other day, of how Vestrum Tobias eats enough for a table full of minstrum. Or was it one Elguan? Although the Elguan don't, as a rule, eat very much at all. Did you know that the Elguan can smell water more than half a day's journey away? Amazing, amazing creatures, perfectly suited for life in the desert. The balance provides, that's for certain. The balance provides.
Vestrum Tobias recommended that I look at some books.
Books is what we do best here at the Enclave, that is for certain. Which book would you like to see?
No tangents?
I'm looking for a story called The Silver Spear of Gorimon.
Yes, a fanciful tale if I ever saw one, but a charming one. Did you know that I'm often paid visit by adventurers wishing to read everything available on the spear, so that they too can set out on their foolish quests?
Yeah, don't you just hate those adventurers?
Well, they pay for my bread, milk, and butter with their contributions to the coffers, so I shouldn't be too critical of them. But they care not about the books. They care only about what the books can give them.
I care. About the books, really.
I can tell. So, the Silver Spear of Gorimon, then?
Oh, cool. Yeah, no one said anything about cubes. Ever. Indeed. What cubes? No cubes.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
The Silver Spear of Gorimon. In the glory days of Bakshiva, before the drought, when Gorimon was the greatest city in the known world, the Parech of Bakshiva decided to forge the most powerful weapon in the world to challenge the mighty White Dragon. The Priech, is it Priech? Priech had grown greedy and bored, his treasure hold filled with the riches of the world, and he desired nothing except the one thing he could never have, the unborn daughter of the White Dragon, the fairest, purest, most beautiful creature in the universe. He had asked the White Dragon for her daughter's hand in marriage, but she had refused, scolding him for his insolence and warning him to keep his distance from immortals. And so the Priach sought the advice of a mighty sorcerer, the dark and cruel Eos, to learn how to kill one of the Dry Kin. The sorcerer taught the Priach that of the white silver of Mount Tir Inia. I have trouble with that one. Tir Tireni, there you go. The strongest substance in Arcadia, and how it could be forged by magic to kill even one of the kin. The Priach ordered his army to go north, across the ocean, to bring back enough white silver to shape a weapon. When he's been returned with the rare metal, the Priach ordered the finest blacksmith in Baksheva to his castle, where Eos the sorcerer cast a spell to create an unholy forge. 10 days and nights it took before the exhausted blacksmith could present a tall spear to his emperor. But before the spear could be used to kill one of the kin, it had to be bathed in blood. Beheading the poor blacksmith and the soldiers who had retrieved the white silver from Mount Tireni, the Priach's private bath was filled with their blood. As he dropped the silver spear into the red bath, washed over by Eos, a terrible scream erupted, and steam rose up in a red, foul-smelling cloud. When the steam lifted, the blood was all gone, and the spear was glowing a deep red colour. With the terrible weapon now ready to be wielded, the Priach issued a challenge to the White Dragon to either surrender her daughter to him for marriage, or suffer a painful death at his hand. Enraged, the White Dragon refused him yet again and flew to meet the Priach, his sorcerer, and his 1,000-strong army in the green fields outside of Gorimon. Of the magical silver spear, she knew nothing, and the Priach kept it wrapped in cloth by his side. "Bring your forces around, Priach," swarmed the White Dragon. "If you do not, I will lay waste to them all." "I wish my men no harm," lied the Priach, because this lies between the two of us. He then rode forward, alone, and dismounted his horse, but stayed within reach of the spear. The White Dragon landed before him, and she said, "You are brave to face me like this when you know you cannot harm me." Then the Priach raised his hand as if to greet her, but it was instead a sign to his sorcerer, the terrible Eos, who cast a mighty spell to hold the White Dragon, while the Priach drew his silver spear. The White Dragon fought bravely, and she was close to escaping the sorcerer's magic, but the Priach was quick, and he thrust the magic spear into her chest. She screamed in pain and anger, and the sorcerer's spell could no longer hold her. Raising on her beautiful wings, the blood pouring down on the land below, she cursed Baksheva, her Priach, and her people for all time. Wherever the White Dragon's blood fell, and the land turned arid, and grass became sand. The Priach sent his army to follow the White Dragon and to bring back her egg, but the drought grew, and within days, the once proud empire of Baksheva was turned into a desert. Then followed a fierce storm that tore across the land for 100 days and nights, and when the dust settled, there was nothing left of Baksheva but 2 coastal cities and a few scattered oases. It is said, in the buried ruins of a lost capital, wrapped in the arms of the Priach who dared test the immortal, rests the silver spear of Gorimon. Oof.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Well, the dragon didn't die. You didn't put it back in the same place.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask for.
No matter. I know a great deal about most of the books in here. What topic intrigues you?
Only another half an hour. Well, there's only 3.
I've heard rumors about mermen who live beneath the Sea of Songs, and I'd like to
Possibly
find out
4.
more about them.
Mermen in the Sea of Songs. Let me see what I can find, yes?
We're in no rush.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Thank you. Malarum, also mermen, merpeople, mermaians, Merians, magical people who reside in the depths of the great ocean and other seas. Little contact has been made with the mermen, who are believed to have been quite numerous in the past, but are now dwindling in numbers. Confirmed location of mermen cities is between the Bastion Atoll and Guyenne, centering in the Sea of Songs. Legends of mermen, merpeople, Merians, are rampant among sailors. These stories portray the mermen as grotesque and in a grotesque and violent light, betraying the truth of a largely peaceful people. Although not much is known about the mermen, their religion apparently centers around the belief of a benevolent god who lies in the immense depths of the great ocean and who brought the mermen to Earth from a place distant and wonderful.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
It's probably saving and reloading, isn't it? Although you can't do that either. You probably could save and reload and that might do it, but it's kind of risky. Or something like that.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly.
I'm looking...
No, Matt.
I need to find out which 4 magical people of Arcadia were given a piece of the stone disc that serves as the key to the Guardian's realm.
The stone disc of the balance, yes? Yes. There could possibly be something on that in... let me check. Just one moment. I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Chapter 16 in the 8th scripture, the scripture of breaking, regarding the disc of the balance and the events that came about when the disc was broken. Scriptures tell us that the disc was kept at the enclave, for many thousands of years, safely guarded from any threat by the respect held by every man and woman for the authority of the fathers. But with dissent came disobedience, and disobedience brought immorality, and immorality begat theft. Tyrann soldiers, aided by sentinel traitors, attempted to make away with the disc, but were thwarted by the Wight of the King herself, intervening, although forbidden to do so, on behalf of the fathers. The disc was brought safely back to the enclave, but the threat would linger in the minds of the minstrum and the vestrum. So it became that the disc was melted in the forge of the dragon's mouth, shaped in the elements of the 4 magical people, and given to these respective people for safekeeping, until such time when it was decreed that the disc should once more be whole. 1 stone to be gentle souls that sing in the dark and shape the earth between. Their toes. 1 stone to the gentle souls that sing in the dark and shape the earth between their toes. 1 stone to the watchers of the woods, the one who are outside. 1 stone to the 2 that can make one of air and of sea. And 1 stone to the keepers of the dark flame, the eternally dark, the mariners. When the time comes for the disc to be whole again, 1 person will make a journey to the 4 who hold the pieces, and the pieces will be given willingly, because there will be no doubt to the righteousness of this person. Well, that's interesting. Watches of the woods. 1 to the 2 that make 1 of air and of sea. 1 to the keepers of the dark flame, and 1 to the gentle souls that sing in the dark and shape the earth between their toes.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
I look like a serving maid.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some...
Oh, sir.
I'm looking...
No.
I'd like to learn more about dragons, about the Dragonkin.
Oh, yes, yes. We have some wonderful books on that topic. Stay here.
He's got to go over there. He is. He's going to go over there. Calling it. Oh, no. Maybe. No, no. He's going to go there for one of them. Yeah, Docadron.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Thanks. From Minstrom Elec. Forward. The Dragonkin are known by many names throughout the Twin Worlds. In Old Tongue, they are often referred to as Drakin. In some variants of Low Tongue, Drechen. In the Southlands, the word Drachian refers specifically to the wind's lizard shape, traditionally associated with the kin. Okay. In Irad, the eternal spirits of the kin are called simply Drake, or Drak, regardless of their current shape. In Stark, most cultures refer to kin as dragons. Although this usually refers to only the winged lizard-like shape and not to the spirit inhabiting this shape. In fact, while in Arcady, the kin are respected and revered as eternal spirits with great significance of the balance and the all. In Stark, the kin are mostly seen as creatures of mythology and fairy tales. However, in some Stark legends and scriptures, notably the Christian Bible, the name dragon is associated with the forces of evil, and thus the religious connotations do not seem to have carried over in a somewhat distorted form. Who or what are the Dragonkin? Why not ask who is the creator or what is the all? Questions thus asked will remain in perpetuity unanswered, or they are in truth unanswerable. To condense all knowledge of the creator into one answer is futile, as is any attempt to define the all without describing every single element that makes up the all. So also with the Dragonkin, we cannot answer who is the kin or what is the kin, but we can provide some answers to the... Oh boy. Simple questions. The questions that deal with what we see and hear and feel, and what we have been told by the kin themselves. Answers that altogether they may give us, if only the faintest hint of the whole truth, when at least some indication of who or what the Dragonkin are. Born of the emptiness between the stars, reads the 11th scripture of the balance, the scripture of time, shaped in unison with the all, part of the all, yet outside the all. Dragonkin, note the ancient high-tongue variant of Dragonkin. Why so many variations and interpretations of the Draken from culture to culture? The kin have always been shrouded in mystery. From the mystery rises legend and myth. The kin seem content to be seen as nothing but tall tales and figments of a bard's fertile imagination.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
What if you click that accidentally? I'll have to do all this again. And that isn't good. Yes, you did, Narama. Which is a shame, because I think the game didn't do your hypotheses justice.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
I haven't left.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly.
A book on the history of Marcuria would be interesting.
Ah, an extensive subject, to be sure. I will do my best.
Oh, he's doing it. He's oh, I was hoping to go all the way over here. It's a shame.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
But it was a good game anyway. Travels in the Northlands by Germain the Discoverer, the first part. In my many years as a travelling poet and bard, I have journeyed far and wide across the fair realm of Arcady, and have seen sights most people have not dreamed. I have stood on the magnificent and terrible southern capes of the mist of winter, when the storms were at their fiercest, while the waves as tall as the towers of Altaban washed over my frozen body. I have witnessed the monstrous beasts that lurk in those dark and deadly waters of the south Swallow Brave Galleon's hole. Creatures the size of mountains that with a flick of a tail can touch the depths of the sea and the stars themselves. I have crossed the great ocean from north to south and from east to west, and in the course been stranded on desert islands with no sustenance but what I could gather from the sparse vegetation for months at a time. I have ridden the great Elguan across the Chitangle, the wasteland, from Altaban to Mont Erba. Further south, where Taruk, the oasis, are few and far between. And I have seen shifting dunes above the ruins of Gorimon, the precious jewel of the Bakshevan. Empire, concealed for centuries by the coarse and treacherous sand, which we know why that happened as well. And I have journeyed far west, carried on goodwill and destiny by shadow ships, to the strange and unknown cliffs of the world unseen by most, the world of an unfamiliar tongue and customs, a world of great wonder and mysticism. I've seen all this and more, but the fairest sights I have seen in the land of the north, from Arande to the border mountains, from Tiran to the Bay of Fire. No sight can ever compare to dawn at Mount Tireni, looking out to the plains of Nedra, where wild stallions run free in the thousands, and to look on the city of Coruscant, a pearl of fire, while the boiling sun sets in the ocean beyond. Slow waves reflecting dark yellow and red as they lap slowly on the sandy shores is an experience truly treasured and near forgotten. These lands are blessed by the Creator, shaped by men, yet wild, free and fertile. Come to the greatest cities, the most precious sights and the most cultured and civilized people in Arcadia. Of all the fires I have rested my real legs by, of all the taverns where I have learned the legends of tale spinners and memorized songs of bards, of all the lands where I Have wandered from village to village. It is to the Northlands I return time and again to learn evermore. Join me now, for I will invoke you in the very emotions I first experienced when visiting the sights and treasures of the Northern Lands. Join me, and I will surely bring you there to the exotic mist of the blessed land, and you will pine for its rugged coast and green woods and its hardy people. And like me, you will near rest until you can return to yonder shores, Mercuria. And now there's a song. O Mercuria, thou unkept diamond of capitals, thou art by truth the fairest. Thy counsel may seek for knowledge, kept within its centuries sought and gathered, by men wiser than the ages, brought hither by word of mouth. Mercuria, changed thou not the course of war between thy people, diplomat, wise man, magician, all this and more. Thou hast without equal the mark of merit and virtue. Written by Jermaine Uthan, the poet. Now, the august capital of Arande, the unified country, Mercuria lies on the handy southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tiran and Coruscant. At this point of call, it is the point of call for merchants, traders, adventurers, and pilgrims from all four continents, a place of commerce and diplomacy for millions of humans and other species. Aredi is a strong and proud land perched between the plains of Narada to the north, the lands of Tareen to the west, the great sea to the south, and the forests of the Northlands to the east, and inhabited by humans, Dalmari, Tiren, Mole people, and the Vener. No, I'm not going to sing it. Aredi was formed after Mercuria emerged as a major centre of diplomacy and trade and became the banner under which the surrounding lands united as one. Arendi is a democracy currently led by the Chief Council of the Arendi flag, Lord Yuvan Delan. The High Council composed of the ministers who governed by representation resides in the Mercurian Hall of Assembly, flanked by the palace and the barracks. The Arendisi are traditionalists, and their form of governance has barely changed over the last few millennia. In High Tongue, Arendi means unification, or assembly. Mercuria is one of the largest cities of Arcadia, the capital of Aredi. A centre for trade, diplomacy, and cultural diversity. Populated by a large variety of races, from human to Vener, Mercuria has grown from its origins as the birthplace of humanity to a city of all Arcadians and the hub of the civilized world. Founded 20,000 years ago at the shore of the then unconquered ocean, it is the first permanent settlement of the emerging human race. Initially left on its own devices by more developed races, Mercuria grew large and fat and wealthy. With newfound confidence, it passed through a period of expansion which gained it a reputation as a merciless aggressor, which soon brought violent attention from the Tyrene in the west and the Dalmari in the north. After years of war, Mercuria was decimated and subsequently rebuilt with sufficient reinforcements to weather the attacks from both sea and land. Peaceful times followed, whereupon Mercuria settled into the role that it has in today's Arcadia. Although all surrounding areas fall under its jurisdiction, there is sufficient self-governing and a few central taxes to appease all but the most disgruntled. The huge areas of farmland around the city benefit from well-kept roads, markets, and a busy export to other lands. Nearby villages benefit from the military might of Mercuria, protecting them from roving barbarians and Tyrian armies. And Mercuria also provides the people of the Northlands with one of the best and busiest ports in Arcadia, allowing travel to distinct destinations around the world. Or distant. Not right now, though.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
You take that back. So is that everything?
It's Minster Murin, keeper of the library.
Maybe I should use things on him as well.
Goodness, it's you.
Could I see...
Oh, sir.
Oh no, we got folk tales.
I'd like to read some Arcadian folk tales.
A favored topic of mine. I have just what you're looking for.
Yeah, Tom.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Thanks. Oh, you didn't even sit down. Sandra, the faithful wife. Sandra was married to a brute of a man named Care. He was a bully who drank, cursed, gambled, and beat up his wife when he'd lost coins at the cups table. Still, Sadra treated Care with respect and care. Alright, that's really annoying. She fed him when he was hungry and made his bed and washed his back and she laid down with him when he told her to. She never complained of her hardships to anyone, even though some days she woke up with bruises all over her body. Despite her husband's treatment, Sadra was a beautiful woman with lovely dark hair and green eyes, and men would admire her when she went to the market for food or the town, well, for water. But none dared approach her, fearing her dangerous husband more than they admired her beauty and grace. People would say, "Poor Sadra, she deserves better than she has. She is so good and patient, even though her husband mistreats her every day." But no one was willing to do anything to free her from her husband, as they all feared his wrath. "She chooses her own path," they would say, "and that is not our duty to interfere." Then one day, a tall, handsome prince rode into town to visit with the elder council. When he spotted Sadra carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well to her home in the edge of town, he was taken with her beauty and youth, and he jumped down from his horse to help carry her buckets home. On the way, he offered Sadra courtship, but when told she was already married, he bowed respectfully and excused himself for acting appropriately. That night, Sadra's husband heard about the prince helping his wife, and after striking her down for letting royalty interfere in her duties, he strode drunkenly, for he had already had his usual fill of dark ale, towards the tavern where the prince and his cohorts were staying. When Care arrived at the tavern, the prince was eating dinner, and when told Sadra's husband was there to see him, the prince stood and waved the man closer. "I must congratulate you on your good taste in marriage," said the prince, "for your wife is the most beautiful and good-hearted woman I have ever met." And then he offered Care a seat and a tall mug of ale. But the angry husband did not appreciate the prince's advances, and drew a sword and lunged at the prince before his guards could react. The prince was quick and lucky to avoid certain death, and before Care could make a second strike, the prince had recovered his sword from where it stood on the wall, and stood ready to fight the brute. "Leave him be," called the prince when his guards drew arms and ran to protect their liege. "This is between him and me." Smiling briefly, he nodded his head to Care and stood to attention. Obviously, his skill with the sword was formidable. Care, a coward at heart, knew that if he fought fairly, he would surely die, and he seized his sword but loosened the knife he had tucked up his sleeve. "My pardon, Prince," said Care. "My love for my wife is such that I am blinded by jealousy. I offer you friendship and apologies." He extended an open hand to the prince, and smiled a broad-lidded smile. The prince, unaware of Care's mistreatment of his faithful wife, smiled back and put down his sword and extended his own hand. "Your apologies is accepted, sir." Then, suddenly, Care's knife was in his hand and was moving in a blur towards the prince's exposed throat. Had it not been for the quick eye of a nearby guard, who, with the broadside of his sword, struck Care on the side of his head, the prince would have been dead. The knife carved a deep scar into the prince's shoulder, but did no serious harm. Care was taken away from the town's prison to be judged when the sun rose. His crime was surely punishable by death, especially if Sadra could testify to his cruelty in front of the judge. Free from Care's tyranny, the townspeople now spoke of Sadra's suffering by her husband's hand. But Sadra would not herself, even now, speak against her husband, and instead of being sentenced to death, Care was sent away to work the king's mines for 25 years. Taken with her faithfulness, the prince yet again offers Sadra courtship, but again Sadra declined, for she was still a married woman. Then, 1 year later, Kerr attempted to escape the king's mines by killing 2 guards and climbing the walls, but he was shot down with an arrow and died in agony and disgrace. Again, the prince visited Sadra's town, bringing condolences and a renewed offer of courtship, and this time Sadra agreed. Months later, the prince and Sadra were married in a glorious ceremony, and when the old king died, the prince became regent and Sandra his queen. She was a good queen as the land has ever seen, and she was loved dearly until the day she died. And her funeral was the grandest and most tearful in memory.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Didn't really have a moral, that though, did it? It had a happy ending, but... Alright.
It's Minstrom Yaren, keeper of the library.
I think that's everything. Yes, very surprised.
Could I... I'm looking...
No.
Okay, that is everything.
Actually, I don't feel like reading right now.
Don't feel like... very well, though it is the strangest thing I've heard in a while. How can you not feel like reading?
I'll see you later.
Yeah, I get
Yes,
that, but I
yes,
don't see
good.
how... Careful. It's stuck.
Stuck.
Thought it might be. Alright, couple of things here, just to try stuff on stuff. Just to see. I'll have to go back to the green as well before I forget. And check if there was a petal I could take or something. Then I might call it a day. I don't think I can take any of this.
It's a flower bed.
Yeah. I thought there might be something I missed there, but... So, when I come back, we'll have a read of the journal, see if we're any closer to figuring out stuff. But, yeah, that will do for this week. Don't forget, guys and girls, there is no stream next week. I'll be too tired, so I'm not going to do one. So 2 weeks. Although I will be streaming intermittently with Dark Souls, City Skylines, whatever else takes my fancy in the meantime. But yes, that will do for this week. I shall options, save it, and just pop it. Not one save that entire time. Okay, okay, Hugh, good to know. Thank you, Mac. You too. And again, once again, you guys are fantastic company. Thank you for sharing this game with me. It's always a pleasure. Until next time, no stream next week. Let me just check real quick to see if there's anyone streaming, so you can raid them and I can recommend someone to you. Yeah, okay, we can. we can raid Kita. That's what we can do. So if you guys want to stick around for some Akami, that's like a old Zelda type game, I suppose. Except you're a dog. And there you go. She deserves a bit more viewers. You know, she's you'll have seen her on Blood Bowl and other things on my channel. So check her out if you want. I'm sure she'll appreciate the views. I shall see you guys soon, everybody. You guys take care and have a good week. Toodaloo.